Okay, hello everybody. This is the September 4th update for my garden this year. I'm going to focus on the other Three Sisters bed first because it's in better shape than the other one. If you haven't already seen it already, here is the seed zucchini, or the homeskusa. It is very closely approaching time to harvest for collecting seeds. The skin is leathery, but it's still not hard enough for me to harvest the seeds yet. I'm going to wait a couple more weeks just to be sure. The plant, though, on which the seed zucchini is getting close to dying. Might actually wait for the vine to die before harvesting instead. In a previous video, I mentioned the vining yellow crookneck squash project. Here is the seed squash. It was pollinated on August the 22nd, so I still have several more weeks before harvesting the fruit for seed. I'll probably wait until October before doing that. The plant hasn't quite cropped out yet. It's still alive. Meanwhile, the other homeskusa squash vines are still yielding fruit. Here's one here. Here's another here, which is good news. So, not quite need to narrow out or pull out unhealthy vines yet. And here's the popcorn. The strawberry popcorn is surprisingly short. I didn't think it would only reach about 5 feet tall. And here are the seed heads. Right now, the tassels have turned brown. They're in the milk stage right now. They haven't quite turned brown yet. The husks haven't turned brown yet, so it's not ready to harvest the corn yet for popping. Okay, the beans under are just barely recovering. I had to pull out some dead vines that had squash vine borer damage. Other than that, everything else seems to be making it fine for the end of the summer here in this part of the garden. Guess we'll check the other bed now, and I'll show you in a bit. Okay, here is the other Three Sisters garden bed I planted earlier in the year. And good news is the Montana Jack pumpkin is finally turning orange. I should be ready to harvest the fruit in a few weeks at this rate. Keep an eye on the fruits. Hopefully the skin will be nice, hard, and leathery by the time the fruit is fully orange. In the meantime, a lot of the vines are being overcome by powdery mildew, which is not a very good sign, I guess. There are some that are still making it and sitting out flowers, but a lot of the vines now are just dying, even with treatment. In the meantime, here's the corn, slightly taller than the corn in the other bed, but it's still barely 5 feet tall. Probably going to grow a taller variety of corn next year. I'm not very impressed with how tall this corn got. In some cases, you might want a shorter corn variety if it's less likely to lodge over where you live, where you have high winds. But this corn is just too short to grow beans up practically. Beans in this bed are showing more cucumber beetles on it. I recognize those as cucumber beetles, which is odd. Normally I would expect bean beetles to be eating the... Maybe there are bean beetles as well. But anyway, bean beetle damage is picking up, and more severe powdery mildew. Let's move on to the other bed with the mustard. My black mustard seems to have much larger leaves than my previous rotation of mustard. Maybe I'm giving it maybe it's the diluted urine I'm putting on it, but I'm quite impressed this time. Well, I guess I can continue trying the morning fertilizer with diluted urine. Hopefully that keeps the mustard nice and large. I have a lot less flea beetle damage than usual, which is pretty cool. Also in this bed, I'm excited to see the first signs of lamb's quarter flowers. So I might actually get lamb's quarter seeds after all, as long as the flowers mature in time before the frost. And right here are the cowpeas. The brown cowpeas, I've been picking the pods that have been turning leathery as they mature and drying them in my room in a mason jar. I am hoping that these cowpeas can be used like regular southern black-eyed peas and soaked and then cooked with bacon or ham and collard greens. But I have yet to try the black-eyed peas yet. I only have about a handful in my room. Well, I don't know if there's quite enough cowpea plants to do that. And meanwhile, the Cherokee cornfield beans are maturing and setting up the pods here. Very small pods yet. They haven't quite matured enough for the shell to become leathery and for me to pick them. And the other beans, I have no idea what variety they are, but I'm sure they're a regular annual bean based on the shape of the flowers and the way the beans are vining. And in the shadow here is the pepper plant. I have no idea. Looks like my neighbor has been enjoying the peppers because I only have 2 peppers left. Maybe I won't be saving seeds after all for these varieties. I don't know. For this variety, I have no idea what it is. And these tomatoes here are quickly approaching maturity. I am quite certain this is some kind of Roma tomato. I am actually surprised to see how tall the vines are getting compared to my neighbor's Roma tomato that he has. It might actually be a fully indeterminate Roma tomato. I will definitely be saving seeds from this variety in hopes that I can get a continuous harvest of Roma tomatoes next year. And over here are the Bauzontle. And unlike the lamb's quarters, I don't see any unambiguous signs of flowering yet. I'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully it actually shows flowers next week, sorry. Hopefully it shows flowers next week and I can begin the process of seed saving. And next to it, of course, here's some tiny amaranth plants that, based on how slow they're growing, they're probably not going to be yielding any seed this year. Thankfully, I still have some more amaranth seed that I didn't plant this year. I could try again next year. Hopefully I get some green amaranth as well as greens from it. Let me go ahead and move to the carrots. Okay. Here are my carrots. They are quickly maturing and they look like this beautiful green carpet right now. Here are the carrots I planted last month. They are finally mature enough for me to put some of the compost mulch over them. I will be doing that later this evening, as well as planting my last batch of fall carrots behind these. The variety I will be planting, I think, is called, I forgot what it is, but I'll be planting. Maybe I'll put a note in the bottom of it, of the video, just in case. And here are the other cole crops I planted. This is the mustard, the arugula, and the radishes. They are not quite large enough for me to go ahead and pick them for salad greens yet. Keep an eye on them. And hopefully I can go ahead and enjoy some fall mustard along with my lettuce. That's about it for this side of the yard in the garden. Let me go ahead and show you the beans that are growing with the sunflowers. Okay, here are the Cherokee cornfield beans. I am actually impressed that they have quite a few pods here, although they're still green pods, so it'll be a few months before the pods finally mature enough for me to harvest them as a dry bean. In the meantime, the pods are continuing to curl up the sunflower stalks. and set out flowers for more pods. What's actually pretty cool about the sunflowers, though, they're finally reaching maturity, and if the birds don't eat the heads, my neighbor can go ahead and harvest the heads for bird seed. Right now, the what's left of the flowers is finally falling off and revealing the seed heads underneath the plants. I guess I could let my neighbor know about it so he can go ahead and harvest the seeds for bird seed. I am hoping at least, though, that the smaller sunflowers can be available free for the birds to eat. In the meantime, though, we have the other sunflowers. So, that's about it for this week. The only major changes so far are the Montana Jack pumpkin and the maturing summer squash. And thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe. I'll post another update on the garden next week, as well as some potential other things I do with my stuff in the garden. Okay, thanks a lot, and goodbye.